So I want to talk about. I think it's well documented that my history doesn't go that far back in terms of San Diego, but I do want to talk about a team that I was very familiar with. That you had, your open run team, very very good team, and I just wanted you to reflect a little bit on that season because I know how special that team was for you, and how special that run for not only making the open division and then making a state run. So, kind of, what do you remember about that team? What kind of moments stand out about that season?
That was a special group. The same thing. Rachel Roberts, Didi Valenzuela. All 5 kids are end up playing college basketball. My starters, and like 3 off the bench. So that was a pretty talented group. We knew we were going to be pretty good that previous summer because we beat Corona Centennial. We beat a couple other good teams up in the West Coast Jamboree tournament or West Coast Showcase up at Ladera Ranch. I knew we were going to be pretty good. We played Pinewood tight that summer. Like, we just had a great summer, and you kind of knew this was the year. Rachel was her senior year. She was standing out. Didi was, you obviously saw Didi all last year with Palomar. You know how special that kid can be. And then Izzy was a stud for us. Kids off the bench. Christina De Leon we were just so talented. And,
Megan bust us up that year.
Yeah, Megan was Megan was a baby. Megan was only like a 5'7" baby there. Now she's 6'1". My bench was solid. Like, we were so stacked, talent wise, and we made that run and we just kept rolling. Our Achilles, Mission Hills has always been a thorn in the side. That's a year we thought we could get them, and we think we lost them pretty good the first time at our site. Played them tight the second round. I think we lost by 1. Should have won. That Mission Hills mystique has been something big for us, and that's partly my fault. Like, we focused on them a little too much, and throughout the years, once we stopped focusing on them, we always play better, and it's because Chris is a good friend, a really good friend, and we lost to him that second time, and somehow the open play. And I'll go 2 things. We always set our standards to be the best team in San Diego, and if Mission Hills is the best team in San Diego, well, that's the team you should focus on beating. It's not good enough to go beat, schools.
It's not just a league rival. It's not just beating your league rival. It's one of the best teams in the county. What best team?
It's the best team in the county. Like, if I focus on beating Bishops or Country Day, like, that's who I want to be. How are we going to beat that team? Like, if I focus on being the worst team in our league, then we're not going to be very good. So that year we thought we could get Mission, and they got us. They hit a buzzer beater. Sarah, she played at Palomar. She hit a buzzer beater.
I'm not going to butcher her last name.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about.
Something like that.
Yep,
right?
Yep, that's her.
Yeah. So hit a 3. Like, she didn't hit a shot all game. Hits a 3 at the buzzer. Didi closes out. Should have tipped it. Misses it by an inch. Hits a 3 to win the game for them. The second round, and then of course we get the open playoffs, and got Mission Hills again in another close game. I think we end up losing by 5. We got the same thing this year. We had to play Carlsbad first round of playoffs. Just playing your league opponent for a 3rd time, it was tough. It was tough. And so before the season, we talked to the girls about, we make it to open. At least we can make a state run, because we had the taste of it the year before. We went up to LA, and we played in the state playoff game, and we lost first round. But it was just great to be part of state. It was the first state team in San Marcos history. And then, we got into state, and we just started making a run. Like, we had that open playoff game against Cathedral that was just a playing game. And then we played Mission. I'm trying to think who played the first round. But we played, we won the first round. That semifinal game against –
I remember – what was the Cathedral? I was there. You guys played Cathedral.
Cathedral was a set right before Redondo.
Okay. So that was like semifinals?
Yeah, that was quarterfinals of state.
Quarterfinals for state, yeah.
Yeah. And so I think the third round of state, because we got pretty far. Third round of state, and first round we struggled with Venice. There you go, Venice. Small little team. We walked in after Mission Hills game, and they were all 5'7". If you 5'5" and below. And if you remember that team was my team was tall, like no 6'3" kids, but we were all like 5'9".
A lot of length.
We would switch across the board, and they played the right way. They played fast. And then we just started on a roll. We beat Cathedral twice. We beat the Cathedral in that playing game that was just kind of in between. And then it came down. That was one of the best games. I remember you interviewing us after the game for San Diego Hoops Report. Just a great game, fun to be around. and then went up to Redondo and played a tough Redondo team. And I tell you what, they went on to win state. But the truth is, I think we could have beat them. I think with experience by myself being there, not having been there, not having for us not being there before as a group, I think we made a lot of dumb mistakes. If we ever get that point again, and I've made some adjustments, I think we would have been better. Redondo was phenomenal. I mean, they had 5 or 6 big time players, and it was just one of those moments. I mean, it was amazing just to be part of one of those teams that you dream of, that everything was going right. We just got on a roll, kept winning playoff games, and we were one of only 3 teams still playing by the time we got to the state semis. And it was scary because our AD was starting to look at travel plans to Sacramento. I'm like, I don't want to hear that, and I'm not ready for that. So I don't want to think about that. I just want to focus on Redondo. This team is really good, and I ended up talking to that coach in the clinic last year. We just wrapped for a long time. It was just one of those great games to watch. I think we were down by 19 in that game. We cut it to 5 with like 3 minutes left. One of those runs, Didi goes crazy, hits 2 or 3 threes. Bernales hits a couple threes, and all of a sudden we're within 2 or 3, and we just couldn't close the door.
Well, the reason why I thought it was important to talk about that team is because I remember at the time we talked about it, and this is something that I had talked about with when I interviewed Croce, is that I think a season like that should not be looked upon as not as good as a season that ends in a CIF title for a lower division. And I don't mean that in any way to slight the lower divisions. I'm a coach that will be in Division II, and I absolutely hope we have a chance to compete for Division II. But I think it's important, and we've talked about this before. I've had this conversation with Marlon a lot. When you're in Division I, the goal has to be to get in the open division. It has to be to get in the open division. And I remember talking to you about that, and I thought it was important for you to understand, or for me to give you my, my opinion, whether you asked for it or not, that was a successful season. And I think too often that we get caught up in because you don't win it all, you don't have a successful season. Well, only one team is going to win the open division as opposed to all the teams that get there. And I commend whenever coaches are trying to get in that spot. And the analogy I make is no NCAA team hopes to not get in the tournament so they can win the NIT. It just doesn't happen. Everybody wants to get in the dance. So I think it's important that you guys had a successful season, even though it obviously didn't end in a championship.
Yeah, and it would have been if we didn't make that run, would have been felt a success though. That's the thing. So making open more important, I still think is
absolutely.
I don't know how to. I know we've had this conversation a billion times. I don't know how to it. We've also been to the CIF championship game, D1, 2 of those times too in that time. Like we've had some success, and I see some people wearing the D3, D4, D5 rings, and they're huge, and they're CIF champions. And that team that I had would have won every division except for D1 or open. Open. So state semifinal sounds really good though compared to CIF champions sometimes, because it's something that not a lot of high schools in San Diego have done. And so there's a short list of coaches and teams have done that, and so it's pretty special. Even if that team didn't finish a ring, they have something to think about forever. That run was phenomenal. That team of the year before went to the CIF championship game and lost to Chloe Webb. They got Chloe Webb, the modern day, right? Yeah, so, I remember that. Yeah. That game got stolen from us, and we weren't there yet. It's a lot of our things. What makes Mission Hills and Country Day and some of those top programs is they've been there before. They have that championship experience, and so when we've gotten there, we just hadn't have that championship experience. So the last year, I don't know how we made it there with when we lost to Acosta. Was that 3 years ago? Like we had no business getting there. We had no business getting the ship, and so we got lucky. Like we were obviously going for the open. I had Cloutier back. We were stacked. Cloutier and Bernales, Izzy back. We were good, and then obviously Cloutier tore ACL, and that changed our whole year. And so we went from being 9-1 rolling to 500. And so then we made a nice run in playoffs, beat Poway in the semis, and then same thing. We made a nice little playoff run there. We could have won. We were pretty far in state that year too. I think with 3rd round.
So when you've been doing it this long, what keeps you going? What is the motivation to still, start off well, not this year, but see November on the calendar and get cranked up and geared up for another season? What's the motivation?
Oh, I just love it. I enjoy these kids. I joke that I really do want to win a championship ring. But the more important thing, I have some great connection with kids. I have a great program, great family atmosphere. Our kids have fun. For the most part, they enjoy each other. Not every once in a while we have a bad apple that comes in, and usually it's a transfer that's not part of our program. They'll come in and just kind of not know what we do, not know the family atmosphere we have. We're really lucky. So just being around our kids, being around the coaches I have. I mean, I heard Croce. I was listening to Croce's podcast about his stability with his assistant coaches. I mean, that's huge. My JV coach played for me 4 years of varsity. So and that was before I knew what I was doing. So now I was a little bit meaner back then. Now I'm a lot nicer. She yells at me all the time, like, I can't believe how nice you are. And age does that to you for sure. Wisdom. But I have the best assistant coaches. I love working with them. I have a new assistant coach that's been with me 2 years, who's by far the smartest basketball mind, woman or men, that I've ever been around. She challenges me every day. So I think those new challenges bring a different, because she sees that. And her name's Lisa Baxter. Played at BYU, was Miss Utah State Player of the Year. Went like 79-1 in high school with only one loss. I mean, she was a phenom player. But what she brings to our program is just the details. And so now you have just a phenomenal coach on the court that just sees things there. I'm able to run everything else. So I trust her so much. So, and she challenges me every day. I'll say, let's do this. She's like, why? And it's a great balance. And then most people know Coach Johnson. He's my guy, my right-hand man. He's been around me forever. He's just invaluable. His communication skills, his ability to connect with students or connect with student athletes is just out of control. And actually, we both started as football coaches together. And I was like, hey, man, want to come help me coach basketball? And he's been with me 7 years. He's my guy, man. He's my guy all the time. And he'll listen to text messages. He'll talk me off the ledge when I'm feeling like,
very important job. Very important job, assistant coach.
He earns his pay. Like the kids joke, like, what does Johnson do some days? And I'm like, what he does is saves my butt saves my butt twice a year. Kid loses their mind. They don't want to listen anymore. He takes care of them. Makes me not want to quit. When things go really bad, he's my guy. He's my confidant, man. He takes care of me, and I need that. So his X and O's might not be where Baxter is, but man, he takes care of our program, and he loves the kids. He loves the kids, and the kids love him. And like I said, our staff brings us together. Our kids. I mean, how could I not love going to Coach Megan Roberts? The Roberts family has been a phenomenal for us.
Big fan of that group. Big fan.
Yeah, I mean, just like those kids bring every day. Like I have a freshman coming in, Lindsey Jones. Man, I can't wait to coach her 4 more years. That kid could be special. I know she played with you. Like she puts in the time. Like I don't know, those kids that put those time in. Those kids that put the time in are the ones that I want to be around. And I guess that's what drives me. That's what makes me excited. And I enjoy it. I love it, and I miss it too.
So let's be positive. Let's assume everything's going to go off without a hitch come March. What are some of the things, X's and O's wise, player wise, coaching wise? What are the things that are going to be key for you guys to have the kind of season that you hope to have?
Well, we changed our whole style last year, and that's and everybody kind of knows that if they played us. We went to a slow down pace. We knew we graduated Bernalis, who was a big time scorer for us. We lost, we included Abe early, but I didn't know where the scoring was coming from, so we knew we had to slow it down. I'm hoping to speed it up a little bit this year. We only scored like 42 points a game, and we struggled, but we actually played defense too. We had some nice wins in our season last year, but we were way up and down. We had some bad losses because we couldn't score. So we've been spending a lot of time on execution at half court. Like our speed game is usually good for points. Our defense is always solid, but how to find some ways to score, that's what I've been spending the most time on, and finding those people that can fit those roles, what fits our system. I return 4 good starters, and I return a starting point guard, which, as you know, having a point guard is a game changer. Alana Dang is a junior, only a junior. I feel like she's been around forever.
For real, yes, exactly.
And, man, that kid is good. I mean, she's all of 5 feet. She'll say she's 5'1". She's not. By far, just the toughest kid. I mean, in our playoff game, I think she was our leading scorer last year. They took away Izzy, of course. But returning her is awesome. Got a good kid, Bianca Baron, who's been one of the starters, a sophomore. Didn't even start. Well, she wasn't supposed to start. But we had so many injuries her sophomore year. She ended up coming to varsity, ends up starting the CIF game, hits 2 threes. So she's a phenomenal kid. And then Megan Roberts, I can't speak higher of a kid than that kid, both academically, as a person, leader. She does everything right. Like, she is phenomenal. So we're going to feed the rock to her, obviously, and people are going to take her away. So we have to have other things to go with. We also returned McKenna. So we're really tall. McKenna Tatikian is a 6'2" post player who is athletic. Not a scorer, but defender, protects the rim. So we return a lot. It's just finding those other pieces right now that's going to fit in our system. Who's going to be that 5, 6, 7, 8? Like, there's some kids that could take that spot. So our biggest flaw, we have to find scores. Losing Izzy. If I replayed like last year, like Izzy carried us some games. The Mission Hills game, she scored 13 of the first 17 points. And so I think we have to find different ways to score. Do we press? Do we go after it more? Do we stay pot? Our defense was pretty solid at frustrating teams last year. So don't know yet. I mean, really, that sounds bad until I get them in the gym, see who's going to be that 5, 6, 7. If I only have 7, man, I'm not going to run like I did. I didn't run last year. We didn't get after it like we usually do. There's a game I played 6 kids, and that's not what I do typically, and I don't like doing that. I like to play 8 or 9, 10, but in league we played 6. And because that was the best 6 we had at that time. That's the best 6 I could trust. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I don't know where we're going to be honest with you. Positive-wise, I mean, I have 4 returners back that played a great season and had a great run. They beat Carlsbad last year. They beat Mission Hills last year. They gave it La Costa a good run. They beat Poway last year. That's 4 good seniors that come back that have been there before. They've been battle tested. It's just finding that other pieces. So,
and the league is tough because Mission Hills brings back a lot. Carlsbad brings back a ton.
Well, actually, we switched leagues, team. So actually, I'm kind of
news to me.
I'm not excited. I'm not excited for the competition as far as. Like, it doesn't get easier. I think that league was Carlsbad, La Costa was a tough teams. Torrey's going to be a little down. Canyon might be down. But we switch over with Poway. So I call it the coaching legend of North County League because you got Poway, you got Bob at Westview, who's phenomenal. Kyle's built a great program at RB. Yep. You got, I think Melissa Ping got the Del Norte job, right? Is that correct?
That's what I heard, yeah.
Yeah, so she's under Bob's tutelage, so she knows she's going to be set. And obviously, Croce in Mission Hills is one of the best coaches in California, if not the nation, right across the street. So, that the league's going to be great because every night, there's no walk through the park in that league. There's no easy game. There's no automatic 2 wins that we had the last couple of years. So I'm excited because that's a new challenge. Always going against Bob. And when you beat Bob or beat Truesdale, you did something because they're so well coached. Kyle's doing a great job of that program, built that up big time. And they're going to be good. I mean, they returned their best player.
A lot. Yeah, I don't think he graduated anything.
No, I mean, and we battled them. One of those teams that we lost by a couple and we, could have won, could have lost. It was a tough one. So it's going to be a fun league. Mission Hills is stacked. They return everybody. They get a tough incoming freshman point guard who's a stud. Who I battled with at the middle school level. So it's kind of funny. Mm-hmm. Her best friends are on our team. Some of her best friends are on our team, so it's kind of fun. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a challenging year. I think it's going to be fun. Yes, we got to do a lot of things though. I mean, it's going to be interesting for sure.
So I'm gonna wrap it up here soon, but I want to, you have so much experience. You've been doing this for so long, and if you could give, let's say, I would use me an example, but I don't want to give all the tricks of the trade that you've been giving me over the last couple of years. But what kind of things would you say, like the way I always ask the kids the question, I'll say, if you can go back to your freshman year, what advice would you give yourself? But, posing that same type of question to you, if you could go back to, Roger in his early days as a coach, what kind of things have you learned over the course of the time that you wish you may have known then, or things that you may have adapted that you wish you would have kind of known when you were first getting started?
Oh, man. Well, I talked about that first Hoover team, that 21-17. Man, that team was loaded. There's no business. That team should have won a CIF. I mean, that team was stacked, and I had no idea what I was doing. I think the biggest advice I'd give to any new coach is keep it simple. Be really good at what you do. If you're going to be a 2-3 zone team, man, be really good at that. There's no reason to have 17 different defenses, man. There's not. Like, just keep it simple, and be really good at it. I think a lot of young coaches and myself, I try to do everything. I try to be, let's run a 3-2, let's run a 1-3-1, let's run a 2-3. Let's be really good at man. Well, you don't have the time to be good at everything. Even if you're got all year, if you're going to be an elite program, you need to spend some elite time on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be a great man-to-man team, you got to be dedicated to that.
And the kids don't always have the aptitude to learn all those different things. Is something that I found out this year too.
Oh, and there's a couple coaches in our county that just throw everything in the sun at you. They throw the kitchen sink. All of a sudden they're 3-2. Next time they're 1-3-1. The next, and I'm like, all right, we're running Nova. Like, that Nova's our zone offense. Like, we're not switching it up. We're not gonna, running box first. We're not. Our offenses versus man and zone is almost identical. So everything we do is simple. Everything we do is the same thing, offense or defensively, or the same terminology. So, like, our kids don't have to – man or zone doesn't affect them. We just do what we do. And so keeping it as simple as possible. Like, those clinic coaches that do every clinic, I do watch every clinic. Don't get me wrong. I try to absorb as much knowledge. But it's more to find better ways to teach what we do more than, all right, I'm going to steal this inbounds play. I'm not going to steal that inbounds play. I'm going to steal that baseline inbounds play. I'm going to steal that, quick hitter. It's more for how am I going to teach – the pick and roll here a little bit tighter, like how we're going to run that, how we're going to look at those options off it. One thing I'm not calling screen and roll. We run a lot of screen and rolls. If you watch us play, we're a dribble handoff feeding team, and we're also running pick and rolls. But our roller never rolls. You call them a roller, pick and roll, they never roll. They just freaking stay there no matter what. So we're changing their name to them. They're called screeners and sprinters.
I like it a lot.
Because for love of, oh my goodness, they don't go. I mean, I love McKenna Sticky, but sometimes she doesn't roll. So we're going to call them screeners or sprinters. So they're sprinting to the rim. Okay, no more rolling because they don't do that. And we're not popping because none of those kids can pop in 3. This is high school or college. This ain't college. So those kind of things I'm tweaking all the time, finding little things to figure out, like, how can I teach our screen and roll better? How can I teach that kind of stuff? Because I'm not putting anything else new. I'm just finding ways to teach it. And I think young coaches do way too much. I think the other thing is go watch practice, man. Like, I know you went to go watch Palomar practice all the time. I mean, I took my kids to watch Palomar practice last year just so they could hear the noise level.
The talking,
of Palomar. Yeah. I mean, Lee is a good friend, and Lee is Coach Marshall. Palomar is one of the best coaches in San Diego by far. She might be the best college coach, other than the coach at USD possibly. I mean, she is phenomenal. She is great. Like, her practices are intense. They're loud, obnoxious, crazy, but fun. And they get after it. And they're a family, for sure, program to look at that, you want to admire. And so we took our kids last year because our kids weren't talking defensively. I'm like, this is not going to happen. So let's take them over there. Let's watch Dee. Oh, look, Dee Dee's talking. All right, look, Taylor's talking. Look, hey, look all these people talking and how loud it is. And so it's one thing to show them on video, but to actually bring them there. So and like you said, I steal stuff all the time. Their 4-on-3 drill that Croce puts in with Palomar and Lee puts it. Man, that's been a staple of our program. The other thing for young coaches is coach club. Go coach club. Go coach with other coaches. I think, you obviously can't coach with other coaches in high school. That's just not possible. But go coach with EBO and hang with Marlon, hang with Lonnie, hang with whoever the EBO coaches at that time are. Robbie was there forever. Those are 3 of the best coaches in San Diego. Go coach Relentless and go coach with Donna, who's coached in college. I know we didn't get talking about mentors, but one of my biggest mentors is Terry Scaife. Well, you don't know Terry Scaife because you're new to the scene, but Terry Scaife had a powerhouse at El Camino for years. Winning CIF titles there. He was able to keep them. That's what makes Sarah good, because they have that military kids in there. So all of a sudden you get a kid here and there.
You don't even know you're getting.
Yeah, El Camino is that same thing. Like, El Camino gets talent because that Camp Pendleton's right there. You got people coming in. So he was there forever. He kept the talent there. And so I coached club ball with him called San Diego BTR and for years. A lot of stuff we do still our hand signals, some of the stuff we do is still Terry Scape stuff. In those clubs, and he was phenomenal. I wouldn't have been able to sit with him and work with him if I didn't coach club ball, didn't volunteer to go do that. I've been blessed to coach with some really, really good coaches, and most of it's in club because I've always been a head varsity coach. So how do you get better if you're a head varsity coach? You go coach club with somebody. You go spend time watching practices. But coaching club is great because that's how I learned all my defensive philosophies, how to really instill them and teach them in different ways. You don't know the history of the game, but BTR was one of the top programs in San Diego for many years. Back in the day, Fentress Wynn had future stars, and BTR took over. BTR was really good, and I was the top, one of the top coaches with them. It was awesome. It was fun. And some of those kids I still see today, like, Amber Sprague played at USD. Amanda Rega was there. Daphne Kennedy is one of the best players in San Diego's ever seen. Doesn't get recognition. She played at Pepperdine, was WCC Player of the Year. So my history in the girls' game is through club. And then, obviously I'm having a lot more success in high school these days. But my BTR days, phenomenal.
Yeah, I think, as much as I enjoy, of all the things I enjoy about coaching club, the amount of time I get to spend picking the brain of Marlon or Chris or, Bracey's usually my assistant, or we coach together. Yeah. It's so much you get that you take back to your high school season that I don't know. Like I said, I think it's a great suggestion to have coaches do that, because you just learn so much. We had a turn up in Corona, and I was just happy to be back on Marlon's bench just to listen to some of the things he said. And it's just you can't just be, what you know. That's why I tell people, I know what I know. I want to know what I don't know. So I think that's great advice.
Oh, I mean, that's we talked about Coach Baxter again. Man, she corrects me on everything, and she's so smart, and I'm just want to absorb. I've had some great assistant coaches, but she's the best by far. She is the first coach that I feel like knows more than me, as much as me or more than me. And so, like, I want that. I don't want that coach that's going to say, all right, Roger, you're right. Roger, you're right. Coach, you're right. You should do yes, yes, yes. No, man, I want people that are going to tell me, Roger, you're wrong. No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. And I think that's been what she does. That's what Johnson does. And you want that on your bench. You want that. You want those people that are going to tell you, no, that's wrong. Don't do that. And I think that's part of the thing you can do in club thing too. You can see, like, all right, what's the interaction between Marlon and Chris on the bench? Like, you sitting there, besides being hilarious, I'm sure.
When you're not laughing, of course. Yeah.
When you're not laughing, you're learning from two of the best coaches around.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Marlon. Everybody knows Chris,
So I'm going to get you out of here on this. I know we did it already, but it's kind of been like a staple. So I want to know, do the 5 questions with you. So first one is, we'll go with, what's your all-time favorite basketball movie?
I think I put Hoosiers. I have every basketball movie known to man. So any movie that came out, Air Up There. I mean, Sixth Man was always one of my favorites, as corny as it was. So I'm a basketball fiend. Glory Road, obviously, is a great one. Great history on that one. When I coached at San Diego State, we went down to UTEP, and that history there was just, you felt it. So I'd say Hoosiers. You can't go wrong with that. Just a classic. It's the first, basketball movie that there's a couple ones that people don't know about. There's a girls basketball one where team coach, I can't remember the name of it, but he takes over a team in Oklahoma, and he was a boys coach. He didn't want to coach girls. And he takes over the girls team and ends up winning a lot of games, and he ends up being like a state champion for years and years and years. I'll get that to you, I promise. It's a great movie.
Definitely want to check that out. Let's go with a favorite all-time player.
God, there's so many. And I put Joe Dumars, I think, on that one, right?
I think so, yeah.
I go back. The reason I like Joe Dumars is I love the Pistons. I love the Bad Boys. I loved how hard they played, how physical they played. But Joe Dumars was that guy that never said a word. He just did his job. I'm a big Kawhi fan for that same reason. Kawhi and Joe Dumars are just – you never hear them pump their chest, do that extra stuff. And I don't mind the cockiness and confidence. I love some of my kids that are like that. I don't – because you need that. But I also like those kids that are going to punch the clock and do their job. And Joe Dumars is one of my favorites all time. We can knock down the shots. Isaiah was a superstar on that team. Lambeer was a big mouth. But Joe Dumars was the guy that made clutch shots. He was the one that guarded Jordan. Like you asked, I think even that documented Last Dance, he would talk about Joe guarding him. and people don't know about Joe. You know, some people don't know how great he was. So growing up, he was one of my favorites of all time for sure. Also like Kenny Anderson.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, like Kenny was my guy. I mean, I love seeing him. I was showing, true story, I was showing our varsity point guard some video of him, of Kenny Anderson. And I tweeted, I was like, hey, I tweeted at Kenny. I was like, oh, whatever, I'm going to tweet him. And he tweeted back, hey, thanks, coach. And like, that's that's one of my guys, like Kenny Anderson.
That's awesome. Man. That's awesome.
So he's got a good documentary out too. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I didn't know that.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm a movie buff, man. Anything that basketball wise,
send it my way.
Anything basketball wise, I'm finding. I know Croce is a movie buff, and he sent me so many different series and stuff like that.
He's the documentary buff. He's all about. If it's a documentary, he knows. He's seen it.
He sent me a billion, but I'm more of a basketball like sports guy. Every sports movie you've ever seen, I've seen it. And Kenny Anderson has a
Kenny Anderson one. Send me that. Definitely interested in that. Favorite? What's your favorite meal? Any meal you could have, what would it be?
Oh, Italian, man. Italian. My family's, we're Italian. DiCarlo name. Anything they made, lasagna, pasta, anything. I love pizza. Pizzas are great too, but anything Italian food is great. And
this was my favorite question I asked you. What would be your dream vacation?
I think I said the coast of Italy, the Amalfi Coast.
That's what you said. Yep.
Yeah. So only because it's one of the places that I've been to Italy about 4 or 5 times. The boys coach and I take a group of students over to Europe every spring break, and we haven't been on that side of the Italy. We've been to Rome a bunch of times, Florence, some different spots, but we've never been to the west side or east side or wherever it is. I can't remember offhand. I think east side of Italy, and so that's where the Amalfi Coast is, and I totally want to go there. It's going up Spain, to all those places I've been to, but that's one of the spots in the world that I haven't been that I think would be great. I did the Greek Isles last year. So, nice. I mean, doing the Greek Isles was amazing, and you see the picture postcard stuff that you get, you dream of. And now this is only one spot. I've just been lucky that way, though. Like, I mean,
awesome.
I've been just lucky.
And then last, but probably most important, your all-time favorite coach.
That's a tough question. But Gino is my guy. I just love everything about him. He's Italian, he's sarcastic. He's a better coach than people give him credit for. I know he's got amazing talent, and that matters. Trust me, it matters. But he also gets the most out of them, and he challenges. He's not scared to challenge his best player. Breanna Stewart would say that she hated him days, but she knows that he got him better. Diana Taurasi was one of my favorite players of all time. So we go back to girls. Diana Taurasi, I remember watching her playing at the San Diego Classic when she was at Don Lugo. I just think everything he says, everything he's about, he's a proponent of, the women's game. He's done it the right way. He's great. He's funny as heck. Anything I can find on Gino, man, I listen to.
I love to hear him talk football. Like when he gets to talking about his Eagles, it's like he's just like a savant. Like it's not just basketball. He knows everything.
Everything about everything, except technology. I did see him do a podcast. He did like a little Instagram live with Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi, and man, he couldn't figure out Instagram live to save his life. Like he was just scrolling up. I took a video of it because it was hilarious. Like, all right, and so his wife had to come over and show him how to do it. So, yeah, he's my guy. Anything I can find on Gino, I'm about. Anything I can find about anybody. Like, even your video you did with Croce, man, I was listening to every moment of it because he's got tidbits here and there. Like, there's some great coaches in our county that our young coaches need to go see and go talk to and just chat with. Just go watch Bob McKeffey practice, man. Go watch some of these coaches practice, man. They're just phenomenal. So we have some really good coaches for sure.
Well, I'm going to let you go on this. I really want to personally thank you for a couple of things. One, you do a lot of stuff for the Hoops Report behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know. A lot of our artwork and our graphics, and you're a big part of what we do at the San Diego Hoops Report. Again, a lot of it goes uncredited, so I know I can speak for Marlon and how much we appreciate all you do for us. And then for me personally as a coach, as the first year is rough, and I leaned heavily on a bunch of people, and you were definitely one of the people I leaned on. I stole a lot of stuff from you, from playbooks and rules and team expectations and a lot of drills and videos you always send to me. So I personally want to thank you. I think it's very important. We talked about this with Chris, that as much as we want to beat each other when we compete, we all want to see each other do well. And you've been definitely one of those people that's been really helpful for me as a young coach, especially a young coach in a new area for me at the time. So I really want to thank you for all of that. I really appreciate it. No
problem. I think we have to, as elder, I'm elder now. As older coaches, I mean, the gray beard wasn't there when I first started. Let's just say we have to give back. I mean, if you want to make girls basketball continue to be great, you have to give back. The San Diego Hoops Reports, I have done some stuff behind the scenes, and I've done a lot of stuff for them and for you guys, and I enjoy it because I want to make sure that basketball is important. Girls basketball is important. It doesn't get the love that other sports do, And I'm proud to be a girls basketball. I'm proud to be coaching at San Marcos High School. I'm proud to be the success we've had. I'm proud of that. And unfortunately, girls basketball gets the dump sometimes. Women's basketball gets the dump, and it's our job to help the young coaches, help our players to kind of get that exposure. It's important because it doesn't get the publicity. I feel like I made girls basketball a thing at San Marcos. It's something that now that we're pretty good, it's like, all right, you guys are making another state run. You're going to make another playoff run. Like, all right, how long are you going to go this year? And so it's been nice to change that perception of girls basketball. And anything I can do to help the programs, help anybody out, we have to. Because I remember sitting before I did this podcast, I was thinking, I used to sit in the rooms in Santana. The guy named Wade Vickery, who runs the San Diego Classic, used to host the coaches meetings. And we used to get together as coaches before the season and just talk. And we don't do that anymore. There's a lot of stuff we need to come back and do, and there's a lot of things to be fixed in the community of basketball. And I know anything I can do to help. Marlon's been great. Marlon's the mayor of San Diego basketball, girls basketball. And then anything I can do to be assistant mayor and help you out, I'm always willing to do, because I think girls basketball has been a huge part of my life for the last 20 years. I have 2 daughters, 4th and 2nd grade. Hopefully get them to play 4 years of high school basketball. So I got a couple more years left of me. I got a stud 5th grader coming up, so I'll be around for a little bit longer on that one. So we'll see. We want to make sure the game continues to grow, and I think that's our job as coaches of these young women, to make sure they grow as young women, but also keep the game growing for them. Well, I appreciate it, and your passion that just hearing you speak about it is so evident in the way you coach. Just not only your program, but again the impact that you've made on the girls basketball in the county as a whole. So I salute you, man. I appreciate your time tonight, and we'll chat soon.